When do you decide? But we're not doing that because
No, you can leave it on the table, it's fine.
Yeah, he told me with my with my wife's mom. She's my wife.
your seats. Those of you that wish to pay your respects, you can start coming forward. Greetings to everyone present here this afternoon. And I have the pleasure of introducing you to our Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon, and that's the nephew, Jugadambal.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Council and Ravi, let me take the opportunity to welcome all of you to this very sad day. And let me first and foremost place on record that appreciating here this afternoon, we have Honorable Perumal, who will be officiating in South and in Daya. Thank you, Honorable, for coming. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few housekeeping rules, if you recall that. We found a cell phone, so if you can just check your cell phones, and if you do have it with you, make sure it's on silent while you're doing that. Also, please, I know it's very tempting. Many of you will not have met one another unless it's occasions like this. Please try and refrain from chatting while the proceedings are going on to record this service with the dignitaries follows. We will have some tributes interspersed with some songs from Guru and It's True. And with that, we will start with the first tribute of the afternoon, and that is Dr. Raji Taj, who will speak on the life and times of Daya. Dr. Taj.
Firstly, I'd like to apologize for my voice. Somewhere I picked up this cough that overtook me, so I'll make this very brief. This afternoon, it is a bittersweet privilege for me to pay tribute to a phenomenal woman. In the 11 months that I have sat and listened to Daya Pillay tell me her life story, I have grown to love, respect, and admire her strength of character, her clarity of thought, and most of all, her humility. At the golden age of 80, she could still recall the details of events and incidents that you and I would consider unimportant. But to Daya, they mattered, because every person that touched her along life's path, and every person whose life she touched, made an impact and created a memory. In fact, she insisted that a chapter in her book be dedicated to her friends, of which she had a multitude. Some who touched her life fleetingly, and some who grew with her over the years. They all mattered to her. Family, friends, acquaintances, employees, and sometimes even strangers. Daya did not have an easy life. She was made to leave school before matriculating, so she did not have the opportunity to follow her chosen career or an academic profession. But that did not stop her from living a full and varied life. To those who complain that life has shortchanged them and denied them opportunities, for them Daya had a wonderful Tamil saying, "Idu irundha, adu illa. Adu irundha, idu illa. Iduvum aduvum சேர்ந்து இருந்தா எதுவுமே illa." If you have this, you won't have that. If you have that, you won't have this. If you have both this and that, there will be no room at all for anything. Instead of complaining, Daya took every opportunity to learn and better herself, whether it was crochet, knitting, quilting, pickle making, or mass cooking. There was no culinary skill or domestic craft that Daya had not mastered. If she could not pursue a profession, then she would be the best that she can be in what destiny had handed her. And she was the best. She was a cook par excellence, the best wife and mother she could ever be. She was also a badminton player, a swimmer, a bowler, a sketch writer, a singer, and a wonderful grandmother and friend. To this we can add that she was an astute businesswoman as well, who managed her own store, and despite skepticism from her brothers, she showed a profit that's not to be sneezed at. Daya was also a cultural icon. Her love for the Tamil language is well known in the community. Even at 80, she was still attending Tamil classes at the Dravida Hall and learning online with a WhatsApp group. She spent an hour every day sitting with her Tamil lessons, even though her spoken Tamil could stand up to many a Tamil scholar. She is also renowned for her singing in the vernacular. From an early age, she spent many an happy hour with her appa, learning the songs from the vinyl records he played. She sang at the temple, at family functions, and also at public gatherings. But her professional training in music only came to her when she was in her 40s. As with all these other talents which won her many accolades, they didn't fall into her lap. She created and grasped the opportunities despite her many challenges. And there were many challenges. At the time that she started her singing lessons, she was working hard to supplement the household budget. She had 2 little boys to bring up and a husband to care for. The opportunity to further her love for singing, encouraged by her sons and her dear husband. Even in pursuing her singing lessons, she did not neglect her duties as mother and wife. She took her husband and her 2 sons along to her lessons. The upside of this, of course, is they picked up on the singing lessons and are now able to hold their own. Besides these lessons from Mr. Manikam Mudli and Mr. Krishna Governor, Daya continued her music education with India's and vocalist Srimati Padmanabh, and could boast a score of 79% in her final exams with musicians from India. I think the lesson we can learn from Daya here is that when one door closes, another will open, but you have to take the step to turn the knob and enter. Daya's education was curtailed when she was a teenager, but that didn't stop her from becoming the icon that she became as a Tamil scholar and singer. She did not sit back and bemoan the hardships and challenges, but she faced her blessings. She believed that the balance sheet of life, her blessings outweighed her challenges. That's not because there were lesser challenges, but because Daya faced all her many challenges without counting them. She always made a plan to address the issues without any fuss and bother. Daya was not a boastful woman. She did everything that she had to do in a quiet and dignified manner. Although she was the force, she did this from backstage. She always acknowledged her as the head of the house. Subri and Daya were not a demonstrative couple. Subri was the strong and silent type, and he was very proud of his beautiful songbird wife. He called Daya always, and she recalls that even when she pleaded with him just once, he insisted and stuck to calling her Hey, who stood proudly by Subri's side to the end, managing his affairs. And Ravi, very ably using WhatsApp calls to advise them times of appointments, giving Ravi instructions on how to cook a particular warning to Kantan to take a break because of she prodded and guided her 2 sons and her grandchildren in everything that they did in her own discreet and subtle way without being prescriptive. Nevertheless, I think they will be the first to acknowledge that her sage advice was always spot on and always welcome. Her grandchildren, Savani, Shantan, and Ruanta, attest to the guidance they got from Dayama and Jyothata as they were growing up, and the many happy hours they spent in the kitchen with Daya, and also her pride in Shantan's baking skills. Daya was admitted to hospital on the 9th of February and she was thrilled to welcome the arrival of her fourth grandchild on the 10th. She rejoiced at seeing the baby on the many video calls, but she wished that she could have held the little boy, Ashe. Daya had 6 siblings. Sadly, many of them have passed on. Her 3 surviving sisters, Tanga, Baba, have always looked to Daya for advice and assistance with family functions. I think that could be said for the entire clan. The nieces, the nephews, and their families have also looked to Daya to guide them. Daya was seen as the matriarch of the Goodwill governor and the Pillay families. Daya's home was the go-to venue for family gatherings, and tales can be told of the many occasions when Daya hosted them all to her sumptuous meals, as well as her singing. Panji, her youngest sister, looked on Daya as a mother since their mother Janaki died 20 years ago. Both Tanga and Panji stayed at her home on many occasions and spent long evenings reminiscing about the good old days. During Daya's last days, in one of her lucid moments, Panji had asked her, "What advice can you give me?" Her answer was the motto by which Daya lived her whole life. Live life to the fullest. Do everything that you want to do. Jugadambal Daya Pillay meant so much to so many people of all ages, from all walks of life. The staff at San Remo and Goodwill Manor will miss her sorely, as will the many professors and academics who frequented her home. I know that each one of you can relate a wonderful story of her generosity, her advice, her recipes, her Tamil sayings, her singing of mangalams and lullabies, and of course her tastiest of meals, not forgetting her apple. To her 2 sons and their families, she meant the world. Daya was their world. On her deathbed, when Kantan asked her the question, "Is there anything more I can do for you, Amma?" she answered as clear as a bell, with gratitude in her voice, "You have always done your utmost for me. There is nothing more you could have done." And I think that sums up Daya's life. Daya was satisfied with the life that she had lived. As she advised Panji, she had lived her life to the fullest and did everything that she wanted to do. So in conclusion, let us celebrate her life and take inspiration from her so that we too can leave this world with no regrets and a truckload of happy stories by which we can be remembered. Peace.
Thank you so much, Dr. Taj. I think many of us would know bits and pieces of what was recollected to us just now, but to put it all together just tells us exactly how much the auntie has achieved in her life. I mean, it almost sounds Elizabethan, and coincidentally, for those of you who know your Shakespeare, Julius Caesar was forewarned of his demise on the Ides of March, which coincidentally is today. And here in front of us lies our Empress. Can I make one announcement, please? And if the ushers can assist me, can we confine the viewing of the auntie during the songs and maybe remain seated when there are speeches? We're going to have 2 more songs now by Guru Manogran before we commence with the next speech. Thanks.
Sampai
Thank you, Guru. We're going to commence now with two more tributes. If I can ask Mrs. Susie Pillay to come up to the podium. Susie is Daya's daughter-in-law and will deliver a tribute on behalf of the family. Come up, Susie.
It's a great privilege to be here today, to be able to deliver this very heartfelt speech from Auntie Daya's youngest son, Ravi. Today we gather with heavy hearts to honor the life of an extraordinary woman, my mother. She was my greatest advisor, my unwavering supporter, my daily check-in, and the person whose presence I had assumed, perhaps subconsciously, would always be there. Her passing has shocked me into the reality that even those we hold closest, those that have been our constant, are not immune to the inevitable. If there is a lesson in this, perhaps it is simply this: live life to the full today. And if there was anyone who truly embraced life, it was my mum. She was a woman who loved deeply, laughed wholeheartedly, and gave unconditionally. She was strong and wise, with an extraordinary ability to analyze situations with clarity. Every major life decision I made, what to study, whether to take a US scholarship when my dad lost his job, my Swiss diplomatic posting, and even my marriage to Susie, was caucused with her. She never dictated, she guided. She saw things that I didn't, and I trusted her insight implicitly. Her impeccable planning was legendary. Even a few weeks ago, she was still ensuring that my family and I in Johannesburg were well nourished. No visit went by without her sending her signature delicacies, each meal a reflection of her love and her care. Sharing was in her nature, whether it was food, wisdom, or her time, and she gave it effortlessly. Mum had an infectious sense of humor and a joyous spirit. When she found something amusing, her laughter was full and uninhibited, filling the room with warmth. She had a way of turning even the simplest moments into memories that stayed with you. She also had a remarkable power, the power to forgive. She never carried bitterness in her heart. No matter the situation, she always found a way to move forward with grace. She would recount her many adventures and the lessons they taught her, often testing her theories with me, engaging in deep discussions about life, people, and relationships. And inevitably, she always returned to one conclusion: forgiveness lightens the heart and strengthens the soul. This is perhaps a learning for me and is still a work in progress. But perhaps her greatest joy was in family. She was overjoyed when Susie, Calvin, and Connor joined our family, embracing them with the same love and generosity that defined her. And when Sue and I shared the news of our latest arrival, Arav Ashe Pillay, her happiness was immeasurable. She was so relieved that he was born healthy, and until just a few weeks ago, she called every day to check in on him. Her love as a mother extended seamlessly into her role as a grandmother. And while it is heartbreaking that Arav will not grow up knowing her in the way that we all did, I know that her love will always be a part of him. At this point, I look to Arav's cousins, Sabani, Shanthan, and Luantha, to please be a big part of his life, and in this way honor Amma. Amma touched so many lives. As we hear from her friends and family, we are reminded of just how much she gave to those around her. How was it that one woman could impact so many people? It was simply who she was. She lived with open hands and an open heart, making sure that no one was ever left behind, that no one went unseen. Her friendships were another testament to the richness of her life. As we saw at her 80th birthday celebration, she didn't just have friends, she had lifelong friends. But her ability to form deep and meaningful connections wasn't something that happened late in life. It started in her earliest years. Perhaps this is what influences me so much today. In our house, friends were family, and Amma treated all as one. Her home was open, her hospitality unmatched, and her love extended beyond bloodlines. A special mention here must be made of the people of San Remo, who became such an integral part of her life. The love, warmth, and care they showed Amma was everything a son who lived far away needed to see. They kept her safe, they spoiled her, loved her, and cared for her as a mother and a grandmother. I will always be grateful for the role that they played in her life, and I want to take this moment to say thank you for everything you did for my mother. Beyond all of this, Amma was also a lifelong learner. She had an insatiable curiosity and eagerness to challenge herself in new ways. When she was introduced to Sudoku, I marveled at how she would tackle the grids with determination. She never hesitated to seek out help from Calvin, Connor, or even Susie's mum, strategizing, refining her techniques, and always finding ways to crack the code. She found joy in problem solving, in pushing her mind, and in the thrill of learning something new. It was never just about completing the puzzle. It was about embracing the process, challenging herself, and enjoying the journey. Amma, your wisdom, your laughter, your unwavering love will stay with us always. Though I am still coming to terms with what life looks like without you, I will carry your lessons forward. I will remember to cherish each day, to embrace those I love, and to live life fully. just as you did. Rest in peace, Amma. You have given us more than we could ever express, and we will carry your love with us always. And just to add to what Ravi has said, it was such a privilege to have Amma as my mother-in-law, such a loving, caring, generous spirit with incredible self-discipline. I mourn the loss of this beautiful, strong, and wise woman, a true matriarch, one of a kind. The world, and my world, was a better place with her in it. And I miss her so much already. And lastly, a big thank you to all the friends and extended family, many who are here today, for keeping an eye on Amma over the years, and especially during this last period. You are all truly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie, so much for that heart-rending tribute. Fellow mourners, our next tribute is going to be from Mr. Johnson Naidu. He's a family friend, and before the auntie moved to Reservoirs, she spent most of her life in Mubeni Heights. He's a community leader and a close family friend. Unfortunately, he's not too well, so he's going to try and deliver his tribute from where he's seated. Oh, you'll try and stand. Mr. Johnson?
Vanakkam, namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed a very sad moment for all of us when we have to say farewell to someone who so lovingly gave off their time and efforts for the benefit of her family and her community. Mrs. Daya Pillay, who my family and I knew as Daya, was an anchor in the Pillay family. She was an incredible woman who has touched so many lives. Losing a matriarch of the family is unimaginable. I am reminded of the evergreen words, "Who fed me from a gentle breast and hushed me in her arms to rest, and on my cheeks sweet kisses pressed, my mother." We just celebrated Women's Day, and today we pay tribute to an incredible woman. Daya entered the Muthu Pillay family, a pioneering family of Ketamana, as a very young bride when she married Subri Pillay, Mama to all of us. She was the daughter of the famous and philanthropic family of Clearwood, the Velu Governor family, or the Goodwood family. A loving and bubbly personality, endeared to all and got on very well with a very large family in Ketamana. The family moved to Mubeni Heights, and both Mr. and Mrs. Pillay were involved with the new community as the former chairman of the Mubeni Heights Association and the Sri Subramania Alayam in Mubeni Heights, and a former trustee of the Ketamana Hindu Temple. I can easily attest to her involvement in the different community-based organizations. Mr. and Mrs. Pillay were one of the people responsible for the building of the Sri Subramania in Mubeni Heights, together with the legend at that time, Mr. V.M. Reddy, Mr. Dennis Naika, Mr. T.T. Potter, Mr. T.N. Potter, and the others. Mr. and Mrs. Pillay walked the streets of Mubeni Heights, soliciting funds and donations to build the new temple and the installation of the different idols and murtis. When the temple was established, they were very involved in the day-to-day affairs of the temple. Both were also involved with the Mobini Civic Association and one of them were responsible in getting funds to build the Durga Hall. The Mobini Tamil Association was very dear to them, and only on any given weekend one would see Mr. and Mrs. Pillay busy with the weddings that the association used to conduct at the Durga Hall. The Mobinites Women's Group was another organization that Mrs. Pillay was involved. This group of dedicated women, of whom Mrs. Pillay was part of, engaged in a lot of outreach program. They started doing the outreach program in the areas of Remontville when it wasn't unheard of doing seva or charitable work with the black community. The Mobini senior citizen, she was also a member of that. And of course, the Kekamana Hindu temple, the Sri Mutilangananda Iswara Alaya. As former residents of Kekamana, Mr. and Mrs. Pillay never forgot their roots. They continued worshipping in this temple and were always supportive of the different festivals. With all their activities, ladies and gentlemen, Daya still found time to improve on the singing. She joined the Salam Jayalakshmi School of Music under the tutelage of Sri Devi Padmanabhan. Although she was a granny in the group, she was an inspiration to the young ones and didn't mind all the prodding from Sri Devi. We will miss Daya, sweet, melodious voice when singing. We will miss her sweet smile, and the nieces and nephews will miss her advice and love. I truly regret not visiting her sooner, although Daya and Modi kept on asking me, let's go and see Auntie Daya. But we always put it over for tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. So my advice is to all of you, don't procrastinate. If you want to see somebody or to do something, do it today. We thank the Muthubalai family and the Jugadambal families for sharing Uncle Subri and Auntie Daya with the community and the extended family for their love. On behalf of my in-laws, the Subramani Tanduval family and the Nadesh Modi family, we want to thank Auntie Daya and Uncle Subri for their wonderful love they have given to all of us. We are reminded of the words of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who said, after death, when we come face to face with God, we are going to be judged on love. Not how much we have done, but how much love we put into our action. And we all know, ladies and gentlemen, if you really knew Uncle Subri and Auntie Daya, you know the amount of love they put into the action. Every action they did, it was with love. Not for their own good, not for their own agenda, but for the love of it. And we are proud to be associated with them in the different communities. We are proud to be part of their family. And we thank them for that. Ladies and gentlemen, Tiruvalluvar also said, if a person can uplift his or their community to a higher state, they are considered a hero. And we all know Daya was indeed a hero. And before her, Uncle Subri was a wonderful hero. We thank them for touching our lives, for teaching us the value of love. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Namji, Namaskaram, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Johnson. Guru Manodran will perform one song now.
We already had two speakers that touched upon Ma's love for music. So I'm going to ask for violinist orchestra Leomanico to play one of Ma's favorite songs, Nagu Momo Ganale.
Thanks so much. We're going towards the end of our tributes. Before we go to the immediate family, can I ask Mrs. Vijay Taylor from the Reservoir Hills Dravidian Group to speak at the Total Family Fair Family.
Arit Perinjodi, Arit Perinjodi, Tane Perunkaruni, Arit Perinjodi. Greetings to all of you. To Kanthan and Ravi Pillay, I extend my heartfelt condolences to all of you. Take comfort in knowing that you did the best for Amma and fulfilled your dharmic duties. As we have gathered here today to bid farewell to a remarkable woman, Daya Pillay, I invite you to reflect on the profound impact she had on our lives. She touched many lives through her selfless service, a passion for our heritage, and an unwavering commitment to community. In the face of adversity, she stood strong, a shining example of resilience and courage. Daya was an active member of the Reservoir Hills Senior Citizens Group, but ill health and relocation prevented her from continuing. While she was a member, she shared her talents with seniors by teaching them to sing, dance, and act in sketches and plays. She lovingly encouraged them and prepared them to participate in their concerts. Her inherent talents in the 3 arts forms were imparted with grace. In Tamil it is said, "Iyal isai nadagathil sirupaga arundar." She also had excellent culinary skills and was willing to share recipes with the other members. A positive, unselfish, kind and generous nature endeared her with all the members she interacted with. The large gathering here is testimony to her personal popularity. The Dravida Society of South Africa was close to her heart as well. She attended service whenever she could and participated in the events of the society with special fondness for drama. Daya had a zest and passion for the Tamil language and culture. It was largely through her initiative that the spoken Tamil class was established at Goodwill Manor. Her commitment and dedication in improving her Tamil, in spite of her health challenges, was admirable, amazing, and inspiring. As we lose our seniors and elders, we inevitably witness a decline in our cultural traditions and values. It was individuals like Daya who kept the cultural light burning for future generations to follow. May we continue to draw inspiration from her life, and may we strive to keep the flame of our culture burning bright. On a personal note, I've enjoyed and appreciated Daya's friendship for many years. I will miss her dearly. Daya fought a good fight, and now she must rest eternally at the lotus feet of Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Thewa. As the penultimate tribute for this funeral service, can I ask Auntie Daya's 3 grandchildren in the front, Shabani, Shanta and Rui, if you guys can come up.
Welcome everyone. A lot of you call her Daya, Auntie Daya, Mrs. Pillay, but for me, she will forever be Daya Nidhi, my Daya Nidhi. The one who I'd come home to and jump on her lap. The one who she'd make, I promise you, I only passed matric because she made bandaka for me every single day. Her attention to detail is second to none. And I know I promised Raji a chapter in her book, but the bond that Dayanidhi and I share is very special. I know things about her that maybe some of her sisters or her sons don't even know. I think I'm still in denial. Even though I see Dayanidhi right here, I go back to growing up in Mobeni with her, the time that we spent together, the lessons that she taught me. I can sew, I can crochet, I can cook very badly, all because Ma taught me these things. And I promise you, Ravi, I will share those lessons with Arab too.
Welcome everyone. Over the last few weeks, I saw Daya pretty much every day, and it took me back to us growing up, and that's how we grew up. She was strong and courageous till the beter end, I think in Afrikaans, but there's something about looking fear straight in the face and going forward with love and courage and a strong mind. And that is something that I saw for the first time in my life over the last few weeks. Ma had, as we all say, attention to detail, but she did everything with love. And the reason there was always food at home was not because she loved cooking, maybe she did, but it's because she loved her family so much. She wanted to make sure their needs were met how she could. She cooked our favorites. She knew I didn't like mutton and cabbage, but she made sure when she cooked that, she would cook something special for me. And that's something that she can do for more than me. That's something that she did for pretty much everyone that came into the house. If you were vegetarian, there would be veggie food for you. There was a conversation that we had when she was still at the guest house. And I was asking her, like, your love for singing, you know, you always do it, you were very prominent in like the temple and singing and doing these things. And she said, well, it was because I loved singing. And that was her way of expressing it. And someone else mentioned that your opportunities may not be what you want them to be, but with the opportunities that she had, she took them with both hands and she excelled. And that is something that I see in her sons, in all of us, all of her family. And it's something that if you spend enough time with these people, you will get it with you, because she is the person that will drive you forward. She will never say, I don't have this and I don't want you to have it either. She'll say, I didn't have this, but if you want it, I will do everything that I can to make sure that you get it. And I'm very blessed, and we are all very blessed to have met and been raised by such a wonderful woman. And my tata, it's incomplete to mention one and not the other, but you know, I love them so much, and I know that. I told Ma this actually, because she was a bit scared, like the second to last week, and I said, Ma, I can't tell you what's going to happen, you know, tomorrow or the day after, but I can tell you that the love that you shared and the love that you've given will always be alive. And I said, she noted that in the last few months, despite the fact that I wasn't around, everything that she needed was taken care of. Every grocery, every visit to her work, but everything was taken care of. And she said, you know, there must be something that's just taking care of me. And I said, Ma, that same love that was taking care of you then, it will take care of you on your next journey. And I know that it'll carry her wherever it is she is right now. And thank you, I love you. Love you, Mom.
Thank you to everyone who's come to share the respects and memories of Daya Ma. Despite the storm we've seen over the last few days, we've had so many friends and family make their way to the guest house. I feel like the storm was reflective of the deep grieving in all of our hearts. But the sudden clearing of the clouds and beams of sunlight peering through must be a sign above from Ma. I remember in school we had to make these family tree diagrams. But for the Pillays, Daya Ma was our tree. A strong oak holding her family together, each branch linking friends to new family, all coming together. Her compassion with the leaves that gave us all shelter, protecting us from the harsh world. She'd absorb all of the negativity around her like carbon dioxide. Shantan, why are you fighting with your father? Why are the girls like this? And she'd convert that into oxygen. It sustained us. Family comes first. Put your ego aside. Push with your education. And despite all the burdens and strain on her, she still produced fruit to feed us. No person here can say they entered her home without leaving without a meal. I've tried to replicate her cooking. I made recordings and followed every step exactly as per the recipe, but my versions never stood up to hers. What was I missing? Did she have a secret spice in the back of the cupboard? But as cliche as it may sound, that secret spice was love. When I met my wife Kayla and introduced her to Ma, I was a little bit nervous. After the meeting, she told me, I'm just like my grandfather. I brought the prettiest girl home. She was so proud of her girls. Her two pit bull Pillays, Savani and Roantha. Savani, she was so proud of you and would always play translator for you when you and I argued. And Roantha, the last clear conversation I had with Daya on our hospital bed was, Shantan, what a miracle Roantha is home. What a miracle. That's the last conversation I had with her. And for the longest time, I was the only grandson. As more grandsons joined the family, I was a little bit nervous, but Ma's love didn't dilute. How can one person contain so much love for all of us to have such a strong relationship with her? And she'd always push us to push with our career, our education. You know, I have a confession. When I passed CFA, I said my first Durban call was to my dad, but it was to Daya. And she jumped, she screamed for joy and cried and was so happy. Her boys were her crown jewels. Ravi, Susie, the boys, she shared her love across province lines with every care package she sent down to you. And my sisters often tell me, as the oldest grandson, with Mom, I could get away with murder. If that's true, then Nena, you'd get away with genocide. It's called Every Day. She shared so much love with you, and you gave her the strength and dignity to get through this fight with grace, poise, and dignity. Thank you, Nena. Durban trips from Cape Town were always scheduled around visits to Ma. I don't know how I'll manage to book the next flight down without hearing Ma on the phone saying, I've got specials waiting for you, Shantan. Daya, thank you for raising not just us, but all of us. Now it's our duty to spread your love and keep your memory alive in all of our hearts and our actions. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Savani, and Miranda. Fellow Mon, we're coming to the end of today's proceedings. Before I hand over to Guru, who will do the concluding prayer and call in the immediate family to do the last rites, Kankan at the last minute, as per Kankan, indicated that he would like to say a few words on behalf of his mother. So Kankan, you'll be the last speaker before Guru takes over.
Over the past few years, I would just have a sketch, do a spider diagram and speak. I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to say anything today, but I think a few days have given me an opportunity just to settle, I didn't realize the extent of the grief. So about 1 or 2 o'clock this morning, I typed up those little diagrams, my sketch, famous spider diagram. So I'm going to try and just go through it. It's short. It behoves me today to thank the universe for birthing me to a woman extraordinaire. My Amma, my mother, my rock, my constant, my heart. Auntie Daya, Mrs. Daya Pillay, Jugadambal, Mrs. Pillay, to all of you. I could talk for hours on the memories I have of why Amma could only be classified as superwoman. You would have heard lots of anecdotes from the earlier speakers today at Goodwill Manor and in the daily services over the past 3 days of why she is considered such an exceptional woman. I'm going to share just a few insights in the interest of time through the lenses of a gifted son. I labored for a long time thinking that Amma was a victim of circumstance on 2 counts. Were it not for the backward norms of the times, she could have been a highly sought-after lawyer or advocate, because law was her career of choice. At a very early age, when the realities of income disparities became stark to me, I wondered why my grandfather would punish her for the 2nd time by marrying her off to my father, who through circumstance, being a first-generation last born of indenture or slavery, lost his father at 4 years of age and started working at the age of 14. I thought that's a double whammy. It took me a few decades to however realize that academic accolades, being a lawyer, a judge, a wealthy businesswoman, and being married to an economic equal, as seen through my tinted lenses, would not have made Amma a better person. You represent what she is by being here in your numbers and sitting with the patients that you are. She was actually more educated and respected than the many certified professionals, and wealthier than most who are measured only by their balance sheets. No one who was unaware of her childhood, including the hospital staff, who issued a death certificate, believed that she was not a graduate professional in her chosen field. She held her own with anyone on any topic on any day. She was as sharp as a razor until 36 hours before she passed on. She declined opportunities for further study post-marriage to become the superb wife, mother, grandmother, and member of civil society that you've heard about. It took my daughter Savani, who has no filters, to interrogate Amma, to debunk my view that she was married off beneath the economic station, when she shared with Savani that she actually, in quote, fell in love with Tata the very first time she saw him, as she caught a glimpse of him from the kitchen in their flat in South Coast Road, Clarewood. So it was love at first sight. She was married at 19, and I was born before she turned 20. Father didn't waste time. What followed was a glorious marriage that lasted 55 years of her remaining 60 golden years, notwithstanding the serious health challenges she faced. 35 years ago, she was diagnosed with nephrotic syndrome. Dr. Parag told me then that prayer was the answer when I questioned him on the prognosis. A complicated aortic aneurysm procedure in 2016, followed by stents and a failed knee replacement, never slowed her down, dancing even at her 80th in May last year. In July 2023, she was diagnosed with a bone marrow condition. I will not dwell on the negligence that delayed the diagnosis, as we were blessed with years of bonus time with her. Based on the complexity of her condition, she was given 6 months in July 2023. But a will to live gave us 14 extra months with her. She was living proof of the strength of mind to overcome illness. Amma was more than a mother to me. She was my constant source of love, strength, and inspiration. She carried me through my darkest days, celebrated my accomplishments, and taught me valuable lessons about kindness, dignity, and compassion. Her unwavering support, guidance, and unconditional love have shaped me into the person I am today. I am forever grateful for the gift of her presence in my life. As I reflect on Amma's remarkable life, I am reminded of her exceptional qualities, her impeccable speech, extraordinary cooking and baking skills, and her unquenchable thirst for knowledge. She was a true legend, a warrior who lived life on her own terms. The world is indeed poorer without her, but her legacy will continue to inspire and guide me and all those whose lives she touched. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Amma for being my rock, my greatest supporter, and my safe haven. I love you more than words can express, Amma. You will always be my guiding light, my shelter, and my forever home. She will also expect me to thank all of you, friends, family, and the team at Goodwill Manor for being part of this last lap of her extraordinary life. Because of her love for Tamil, I should close by citing a famous Tamil verse. Thai siranda kovil ille, tande sol minka mandiram ille, anne tande anbi ille. This Tamil verse is a poetic expression of the deep bond between a child and their mother. There is no greater temple than mother, implying that a mother's love is even more sacred than a temple. There is no greater mantra than the teachings of a father. Father's words, his teachings, are incomparable as you grow. In essence, this verse celebrates the selfless, unwavering love of a mother, which surpasses all other relationships and forms of devotion. I bear testimony to the truth of this verse, being the gifted son of a perfect mother and father.
Thank you, Father. Dear family and friends, once again the Pillay family would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking the time off and being here during this their time of bereavement, for all those of you that have rallied around to put the funeral arrangements together, for those of you that have contributed whether in cash or in kind, for the various floral tributes, the messages of sympathies and condolences. They would like to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you. On behalf of our Director, Mr. Daya of Police Funeral Services, once again we take this opportunity to convey upon the bereaving family our heartfelt sympathies and condolences, and we pray to the Divine Almighty that He should shower this family with His choicest of blessings and comforts in order for them to overcome the unbearable loss in that of a very dear and loving mother. The Pillay family has also asked me to remind you to save the date. The memorial ceremony of beloved mother will take place on Saturday, the 29th of March. The time and venue is still to be decided. They will let you know at a later date. But for now, if you could kindly save the date, 29th of March. We're now going to call upon the immediate family members to offer their goodbye roses, after which we will proceed to the antechambers. Due to the space restrictions and the safety rules and regulations of the crematorium, unfortunately not everybody would be allowed into the antechambers. It will just be the members of the immediate family that would be allowed to come through to perform the necessary last rites and do that crematory. Those of you that have come and have not yet viewed, you may please come forward to pay your respects. Afterwards, the immediate family members will come through to offer their goodbye roses. And during this time, we're going to play one more of Amma's favorite songs, which was requested by Kantan, and that is Ali Payu. Dear family and friends, we have gone over our time, and I can see the crematorium manager is looking at me from the door because there is another funeral due in the next half an hour. I would kindly request all the family members to come through to the antechambers to offer your goodbye roses. We still have another half an hour there, but unfortunately they won't give us any more time in the hall. Let's all kindly rise as we sing the Akshapadikar conclusion. I'm kindly going to request that we have our porters to come forward now. The rest of the family members, you can come through into the antechambers to offer your goodbye roses, and you all need to be prepared for the next funeral ceremony.
Mr. Panchanath, he insists all of you are available. Lunch will be served at the room and following the service. Thank you.
Very nice.